Melon, meloncollieflaur です。Hello everyone, I am meloncollieflaur. You know what today is? It's Watermelon Wednesday! SUIKA 水曜日だよ. I'm sorry for skipping last week, I apologize. We've made it to the middle of the week, once again though. Just a few more days into the weekend. So, and I'm sure people are also looking forward to holidays and whatnot. But be it school or work, just a few more days until the weekend. You got this. I believe in you. おはようございます。こんにちは。こんばんは。私はメロンコリフラワーです。今日の配信はスイカゲームだよ。So, let's get started. Alright. So how do we want to do this from the start? How do we want to do this? Well, that's not the way. Grape, cherry, pick up on grape. Okay. Put the strawberry here. Grape here. Wow, nice. Grape, strawberry. Okay. Pick up on. Nice. Strawberry. Okay. persimmon, decopon, cherry. Alright. Nice. Cherry, persimmon, strawberry, grape. Okay, not enough pressure. There we go. Okay. Microphone. Alright. Grape. Strawberry. Melon. Nice. Strawberry. Nice. Nice and chill. Grape. Okay. Nice. Strawberry. Strawberry. Grape. Oh, nice. Alright. Cherry. Decopon. Strawberry, cherry. Ah, too many peaches. Strawberry, persimmon. Huh. Oh. Strawberry. Cherry. Wow. Guess I should have checked the gravity. Grape. Strawberry. Ah, 1863. 1863. And I can only assume that my internet is bad today. Or at least on the servers, maybe. Wouldn't be the first time I reset after all. And again, a lot of things have been buggy lately. And not just on my end, from what I've heard. Very weird. Alright, let's see here. Does usually take a little bit, but not as long as it used to. Or maybe it is buggy. Oh no, there it is. Interesting. Weird. Alright. Strawberry. Picklephone. Strawberry. Strawberry. Grape. Cherry. Grape. Cherry. Grape. Cherry. Oh. Nice. Strawberry. Picklephone. Cherry. Nice. Cherry, persimmon, picklephone, grape. Nice. Cherry, grape, strawberry, cherry. Picklephone. Grape. Cherry. Nice. Cherry. Picklephone. Oh. Strawberry. Grape. Strawberry, grape, cherry, picklephone, grape, strawberry, cherry, strawberry, grape, picklephone, grape, oh, picklephone, cherry, grape. Nice. Melon. Okay. Persimmon. Picklephone. Strawberry. Oh. Cherry. Nice. Strawberry. Okay. Cherry. Decopon. Wah. Okay. Cherry. Strawberry. Oh. Ah. Well, got the SUIKA though. 1829 1829. I think it's always gonna freeze though, unfortunately. I don't know why. Oh, no, there it is. Nice. Milo seal. Come Melon. Hello. Why oop? Strawberry. Melon. Decopon. Grape. Cherry. Decopon. Grape. Strawberry. Should I do Mega today? Are they gonna show one like every week or something? Is that what's happening? It's so weird that they're showing new Megas like that. I figured that once the game released, they would have just had them. Kind of like with Pokemon X and Y and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. But I guess not. Up until the DLC comes out. I didn't know that they didn't release the game with all the megas there, other than obviously the DLC not being there. That's very interesting. I'm learning. Strawberry. Decopon. Strawberry. Decopon, cherry, persimmon, strawberry, strawberry, okay, grape, it's alright, but yeah, oh, I see. Decopon, Decopon, strawberry, strawberry, cherry, strawberry, grape, cherry, grape. Oh yeah, also glitch made new murder drone stuff. Ah, I see, I see. Naruhodo Melon. Persimmon, cherry, strawberry, 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 persimmon, Decopon, Decopon, oh, strawberry. They finally made a push of Dal as well as nori. Oh. Are you gonna get them? Strawberry. Persimmon. Grape. Yes, a funny story. Oh, there's the face. I want to hear this funny story now. Melon. Ecopon. Cherry, cherry, cherry. Ecopon, strawberry. Ecopon, cherry. Cherry. Strawberry. Nice. Cherry. Huh. Grape. Strawberry. Cherry. Decafon, decafon. Strawberry. Cherry. I ordered the stuff since it was Black Friday, and I'm glad I did because the doll plush is now on pre-order until late January. Oh. Well, if it's on pre-order until late January, then there's no real rush, I guess. Because it's not like you'll get it early, right? At least I don't think that's how that works, right? I'm not sure. Cherry. Ah. Grape. Strawberry. Ecopon. Strawberry. Cherry. Oh, I ordered it before it was on pre-order. Oh. You can do that? It's like you had insider info. Pre-ordering before pre-order. Cherry. It tends to happen when items sell well and they have to take time to restock. Oh, that's what you mean. So you got the first batch and then I guess they did a second set for pre-order then since it sold well, I guess. 1484 1484多分 I do remember a time when Steven Universe was popular and they released like the jackets that were made that Steven wore. I think they made 3 different ones or something like that. But they sold out pretty quickly because of how popular, I guess, both the show and the merchandise was. So it was really cool. I'm guessing so. Doll fans have been asking for the plush for nearly 2 years now. Oh, I see. I still don't really understand how like the plush market really works. Or in terms of like people demand the plush, but I guess people also don't realize what it takes to actually what is it called? To actually get the ball rolling. Hello Tisius Foot on Melon. Because it's very easy to go, oh, this person or this character looks very marketable. They should get a plushie or something. But then usually there isn't enough people to really fund it. And that's usually what happens. It's kind of like with Kickstarters too, with video games. Sometimes there will be a huge Kickstarter and then it gets enough money to be developed. But sometimes the development doesn't go through. Makeshift can be an option. I thought makeshift was the isn't it the main option actually? Isn't that the go-to? Unless you know more. I thought that was the one that people tend to go to. Then again, I don't know how companies do it though. I can only assume that they outsource regardless. Juniper's another. Oh, I should look into Juniper. I never heard of them before. Huh. Yeah, makeshift is like the only one that I've heard of. Though, it is very interesting to always hear someone go, I want, like, you know, such and such plushie, or I want this to get made. But then, I mean, it doesn't really get made, I guess. Or like I said, the funding doesn't really happen. So really the action isn't really done, I guess. Juniper actually used to make the Murder Drones merch with Glitch Productions until they stopped and made their own merch brand called Final Project. Huh. So that's why I haven't heard of them. I guess they mainly do, or mainly did. Mainly did the Murder Drone stuff, specifically. I can only assume. Grape, persimmon, cherry, strawberry. Are you tired, Collie? No, not at all. Why? What's wrong? Did something happen? What happened? Did I do something? What? Strawberry. Just kind of sounded like it. Oh, is my voice too low? Is the mic too low? Is the volume too low? I slept well, so I'm okay. It's perfectly alright, huh? And I wonder what the difference is then. I know I'm not loud, but I apologize. Melon. Oh. I don't know. Like I said, usually not a lot of things happen where I am and stuff like that. So I guess I'm just very down to earth, maybe. I'm not sure. That's alright. I sometimes have trouble telling tones with the whole autism. Oh, I see. I guess that's a topic we could talk about. Because I guess I will never know unless I ask. So what exactly happens? Because like you've mentioned before about the autism thing, but like I don't know what it's affecting. I don't know if there's like a big issue or anything. At least I hope there isn't. But you have said on occasion that due to the autism that there are certain things that you don't pick up on or something like that. But I'm not really sure what that means. Because we're all different. We're all made different. We're all grown different. So like, it's kind of like with allergies and stuff. Different people have different allergies and different people have different like symptoms of different things, or can only eat certain things or can only be outside for so long before something happens and stuff like that. So I just wonder because I'm not sure. Autism is on a spectrum, meaning people who have it have more or less of it, right? So then I guess my question is, how does it affect you then? Because apparently, usually if it's not autism, then it's ADHD, I guess. And people say that a lot too. And I'm just trying to learn about it because I don't know much about it. So I guess this would be a great time to learn about it as I play SUIKA game. Because I usually don't have much to talk about during SUIKA game unless something comes up usually anyway. So I'm just curious now. Yeah, I have heard about like the spectrum stuff though, that you know everyone's on the spectrum, because like I said, everyone is different. Everyone is different. Like there are no two people who are exactly the same, so like different people have different tendencies and stuff. So so now I'm just really curious. Right. Strawberry, persimmon, strawberry, decopon, persimmon, cherry, decopon. Well, I tend to see myself as mostly like anyone else with traces of it, like stemming social cues and others. Well, what are the social cues though? I've heard about stemming as well, but I've also heard that with, well, people who have ADHD. Or something like that. I guess stemming just really means that if you hear something, then that something reminds you of something. So if there's a jingle or a word is said, then that means that you will then say the jingle out loud. I'll assume that's what stemming is. I've been hearing that word a lot lately, actually. I don't think I've heard that word much before this year, actually. 1869. 1869. I think that's more echolalia. I have never heard of that, actually. Let me look that up if I can. Echolalia. The repetition of words or phrases spoken by someone else. It is a common part of language development in children, often resolving by age 3. However, if it persists, it may indicate developmental delays or be associated with conditions such as autism spectrum disorder and Tourette syndrome. Echolalia can be categorized into two types: immediate, where the repetition occurs right after hearing the words, and delayed, where it happens later. While it is typically a normal developmental phase, its presence in older children or adults may require further evaluation. Repetition of vocalizations made by another person when repeated by the same person is called echolalia. Interesting. Well, I'm learning things today. I guess it's just weird to me because, like I said, people are different. So, okay. I have a question. I know I only have like 2 people here, but if anyone actually watches the VOD in some miraculous like occurrence I guess the question that I have is, how did you cope with being in grade school? Because in grade school, the teachers teach a handful of students. And it means that everyone's going to be on the same curriculum and that everyone is supposed to act on the same accord. So, how did you guys deal with just learning in school? I was always like the type of individual to just like take notes and study for like tests that I wasn't sure that I would pass if I was on a weak subject. I liked math a lot, but I wasn't really good at anything else. So that's why I would usually like write stuff down if the teacher was writing something down on the board, and then I would review my notes later if I wasn't sure, because a lot of it was going to be vocabulary terms anyway. So that I could, because it was just going to most likely be multiple choice tests too anyway. So how old would grade school be? I guess it would, well, it's before college, so I guess it would be anything from like the start of preschool or kindergarten through middle or high school, I guess. I guess I should just say non-college. Because non-college is usually like, you know, local, town, city, state, country, government funded maybe, I guess, or something like that. Basically, like, I guess the word is mandated, maybe? I'm not sure. But, like, I'm just trying to translate it into the Irish education system. Right, yeah. Because I don't know much about Ireland myself. But I guess just think of it like the town that you grew up in. Like, obviously, you had to go through school, unless you were homeschooled. And so, like I said, there were a bunch of students that were sat down in a classroom. And you would go to each class and you would learn the subjects and obviously take tests and stuff to see if you remember the things or if you learned anything and stuff like that. But the problem is, were there any learning disabilities? Did you have like any issues where, was it an actual like learning disability, or was it that you just were like bad at the subject? Because I guess that can be misconstrued in a way too, because not everyone is good at every subject. And some people are just good at studying or good at being studious as well. But there can be like an impairment where you have a hard time focusing on learning or focusing in the classroom and stuff like that. That roll combo though, yeah, it was really good. I liked that a lot. I'm glad that that's recorded. I used to hear about ADHD all the time, but they always talked about how it was that the kids weren't focusing well in school, or that they were fidgeting or something. But I also learned that it's more than just that. So I'm wondering if that's just tied to ADHD, or if people just wrote that off as ADHD just because they couldn't focus in class. And the more I learn about stuff like this, I think the better I will end up being. I mean, it is my job to learn about basically behaviors and stuff and how people act, so that I can understand things better. it's better to learn about how things are than to, I guess, get angry or frustrated when you don't understand something. If it's a very common thing, that was scary, then learning about it would be a good idea. Melon. So that's what I'm trying to learn, I guess. That's why you wanted to leave the garden and travel the world. Exactly. Exactly. That's my whole thing. So, I'm just very curious about that. Different people have different behaviors. But it's very easy for like a parent or a guardian to go, why isn't my child acting like the other children? Or did I not do something that I was supposed to at a certain age? Or was I supposed to teach them this? Or whatever, and stuff like that. It's very easy to just think that something is quote unquote wrong. Instead of just wondering if, you know, people learn differently. It's not easy to actually learn behavioral patterns all the time, especially from like a different country, because different countries have different rules. And I guess that's why the internet is pretty scary as well. Since everyone's coming from different places all over the world, there is no real universal rule, I guess. Or at least people try to establish it. Like, don't show like real animosity towards each other, or don't be toxic, and that type of stuff, I guess. But different cultures do have different like rules and stuff too. Well, for me, at least back in secondary school, which is high school, I definitely respect the teachers because they were chill and were good at teaching us. Okay. Yeah, because like, it's not easy to be a teacher. You have to have a lot of patience. You would think that with so much patience, they would become doctors. Which, I guess technically they do. If they get a doctorate, right? But like, you need a lot of patience in order to be a teacher. But at the same time, it's their job to also learn what's going on. Why is it that this student is struggling more than others? Is it my fault? Is it me the teacher? Is it the teacher's fault? Or is something going on? Or is there a behavioral issue? Or, and stuff like that. Like I said, the teachers have to teach a handful of students at a time. And it could either be that the student isn't very good at that subject, or if they actually do have like a fidgeting issue, or if they need more time to learn about the subject, or something like that. Especially the PE teacher, which is one of my favorite subjects since it just let off steam from sitting all day. Okay. Yeah, that's true. I mean, getting exercise is very important. That's the whole reasoning for PE. I know a lot of people didn't like it because it was physical activity. Which is very different from all the other subjects in school. Wow, 2032. 2032. Hey Melon, seems like I might have to watch the VOD since I'm late. I guess, but glad I managed to make it to Watermelon Wednesday. Oh yeah, I guess it has been like 45 minutes, huh? Time does fly. It's okay, don't worry too much about it. But I'm glad you could stop by, Bob, on Melon. But it's not the end yet. And plus, every time this has been ending, it's been freezing here. Could just be a switch issue. I'm not entirely sure. Or just internal, like... I don't think it's my Wi-Fi. It could be, but as far as streaming goes, everything's okay. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on. I know PE is different in other places, but for me it was just play a sport in the gym hall for the class. Really? Oh, it was more of a participation type thing. Yeah, that's fair too. Because there are other extracurricular classes that were like that too. All you needed to do was participate and you would pass the class. But if people ended up skipping the class, which was supposed to be an easy A, then I can understand, you know. But I guess, so here's a weird thing. Universally, it seems like the one subject that a lot of people have trouble with is math. Math apparently requires a different level of thinking, I guess. Everyone says that they hate math, except for the few that don't hate math. And even if you do like math, there's certain math that you like. Like some people are good at algebra, other people are good at geometry. And stuff like that. Or just regular, like arithmetic and stuff. We had to do the pacer test. Oh yeah, the pacer test. I know about the pacer test. It's now just a meme, I guess, at this point. But yeah, the pacer test was scary. Imagine doing that as an adult. I guess it wouldn't be as bad? Maybe. Sorry for my lack of control of tone. Then there's physics. Then there's physics, which is a combination of math and science as well. I guess math and geometry? Or, I'm sorry, science and geometry? Maybe. I'm not sure. Or trigonometry, maybe? So, yeah, it's scary. Imagine taking the tests that you took as when you were younger as adults. It's kind of like if you live in a place where getting a driver's license to drive a car is normal. Imagine after a certain amount of years you have to retake the driving test. I don't know if places do that, but imagine if you had to do that every few years, like every 20 or so years. I like math as well. My favorite is algebra though, even though I haven't done it in a very long time. I was never good at geometry and trigonometry. I was very bad at angles. I don't know. I do think it's interesting, like, you know, 45 degree, 90 degree, 180 degree, all that type of stuff. Learning about radians and all that type of stuff. But like, I never really got it. But I also didn't get physics, which is totally different as well. Chemistry was okay, I guess, for me, but I was never good at, you know, those. I'd be fine renewing my license. History is cool. I'm really bad at history. I know it's all about memorization, but that's what's so funny. With history, a lot of people are good at history, but that requires having a good memory. But a lot of people that I know have bad memory. So I get very confused with that. Which is kind of funny because I'd like to think I have an okay memory, but I'm really bad at history. I can't memorize dates and stuff like that. Or I say can't. I guess I haven't really tried in recent years. You know what? I take it back. I can remember certain things. I guess if it's of interest, because I can say, oh, the GameCube came out in 2001, or the Wii came out in 2006, or like, I guess the NES came out in 1985 or something. So I guess with some dates I can memorize, but I never really memorized like wars or like major things like famines and like, you know, Great Depression and all that type of stuff. I never really memorized that stuff. I generally kind of understood what was going on, but I never memorized the dates. Yeah, and the GameCube also turned 24 years old yesterday. So yeah. Time really does fly. Now, if you asked me, like, what year that certain games come out, then I wouldn't know. Because then you're delving into the games of the era. Like, what year did this come out? And stuff like that. Now, only some games I know. But not very many. Like, I don't know what year Halo came out. I don't know what year Eternal Darkness came out. I don't know what year Resident Evil came out. Stuff like that, right? I don't even know what year Super Mario Sunshine came out. Granted, the years do vary or differ depending on the region because they might take a year to release it in your country. What year was Mario Superstar Baseball on the GameCube? Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. What year did SUIKA come out? Actually, I think SUIKA came out, what, 3 years ago? Or was it 4? I know it got popularized like 2 years ago. Which means that it came out 4 years ago. I think. They still have no date for Suika Planet. That's so weird. I figured it would have been an instant thing. Or I figured it would have been like an add-on. Or something. With how simple the game is. But yeah, I was wondering about that. I figured I just missed it. Or I was just unaware. It still just says winter. Oh. I guess that's the thing that I fear the most. I fear dates in this case because you set an expectation and then a delay happens. And then people forget about the release or they don't because it's their favorite series. Metroid, for a lot of people. And then they give up hope until it finally comes out. Usually, I think. Super Mario Galaxy of Suika. Right. Suika Planet. But yeah, I don't know. Either that or they would be cooking the Song of Silk for 8 years. Yeah. And from what I've heard, it was amazing. And difficult. At the same time. So, there you go. And it wasn't even expensive, so... pretty good. And nominated for the Game Awards for Indie Game of the Year. What? I would assume most anticipated, so that would make sense too. So since it was most anticipated and you really wanted to play, it would make sense for it to be nominated for, you know, as Indie Game of the Year. It's like you really want it, right? Oh. Wow, 1343. Uma Musume also got nominated for Mobile Game of the Year. I see. That's a game I never played. I know it got really popular for a few months and whatnot, but like, I never really got into it. The art style looks really nice though. I like the way the models look. But yeah, like, not everyone is great at every subject. Not everyone is great at like studying or note-taking or, you know, coping well with, I guess, sitting in school or something like that. But I wouldn't discount them as that there's something wrong with them. because different people learn differently. But at the same time, you also learn to just get used to your surroundings too. Honestly, I like the fact that the devs do their research into the horses with the design and history behind them. Right, yeah. I've heard about that. It's very scary too. Lore accurate, you know? So yeah. But I guess the thing that I'm really bothered about is that I keep saying the word discounted. Or that it's easy to discount something as. Like, I guess I just don't like the idea of thinking that, oh, if something's wrong with you, then you have this disorder. Instead of, you know, just learning to... that it takes longer to understand other things or something like that. Because once you put a label like that on somebody, then people look at you weird and different, and they start treating you weird and wrong. Unfortunately. That's one of the reasons why I asked as well, Milo, because if you say it a lot, it's kind of like if someone says, hi, I'm Amelia, the coolest girl in school. No one is cooler than me. I'm the coolest girl out there. You'll never meet anyone cooler than me. And then later, there's like a lot of talk, and then everyone's like, hey, do you know about the new girl? And it's like, oh, who, Amelia? Oh yeah, the coolest girl in school? Yeah, or so she says she is, or whatever. Once you start doing that, obviously I use like a positive spin on that, but once you start doing stuff like that, and people go, oh yeah, well that's, well, I mean, you know, well she can do no wrong. She's the coolest girl in school. She's fine. Don't worry too much about that. She'll be fine. She's the coolest girl in school. Or like, oh, don't worry too much about them. It's okay. They're fine. They just have a little autism, so they'll, you know, don't worry too much about it. They're a little different. Stuff like that. Because then people start looking at you differently and weird, and as if you're not capable of doing what anyone else can do. I guess that's why it kind of confuses me a bit. Or because if everyone is on the spectrum, then, like I said, everyone's different. Oh, you can't learn, you have ligma incurable. Isn't that kind of why the producers of Big Bang Theory left it up to interpretation of Sheldon had autism in the show? I'm not sure. I figured everyone just thought Sheldon was smart. And yes, he acted weird due to like, on a normal, like, on social norms level. Because of, I guess, because Sheldon didn't read the room well. I think that's what it was. Sheldon's social cues were weird because he didn't read the room well. So I guess you would chalk that to autism or something like that. It's not very easy reading a room, I've noticed. That takes practice. It takes being around it. It's like watching a bunch of people take tongs to pick up like food to put on their plate. You know, everyone's doing it around you, then you learn to do it too. Or when you finish your food, you take the plate and you take it to the sink. And then you like lather it with soap and then rinse it off and stuff and put it away. And then so you see other people do that, so you know, you go, oh, I need to follow suit with that and do that too. Like, it's all a process. Syndrome from Incredibles be like, if everyone is on the spectrum, no one will be. Exactly. And so I'm not discounting, like, if you actually have a severe issue where you do need actual help, I understand that. Or if you need like certain medication to help you like sit still or something, I understand that too. But if it's something along the lines of, oh, these people are really good at history but bad at math. Maybe they're autistic when it comes to math. Or they're really good at science but not good at history. Maybe they're just autistic with his stuff like that. And I just, like I said, I just feel like it just feels weird to me. I grew up in an era where people used to use the word autism as like a bad word. Like, as something was wrong with you in like a bad way. So that's why I guess it feels weird hearing it now and people just saying, well, I have autism, or, you know. Like I said, times are different, so I understand. And learning what's wrong with you is also okay as well, because then you understand, okay, so that's why I act this way. Maybe. That depends though. That's the scary part, because that depends. But yeah, that's why I get really scared with that. Because it makes me think, oh, well, they can't think for themselves, or they can't do anything for themselves, or they're just very hyper, and like we won't be able to calm them down or something. And it's like, there is a term called, there is what's called a functioning autist, and you wouldn't know that they have autism because they function just like you and me, or something like that. Hence why it gets really weird. Like, everyone is on the spectrum. So I don't know, it gets really scary to me. And some people have used it as a means of like getting away with certain things. Oh, teehee, well, you know, I'm sorry, it was my, you know, it was my autism, or it was my ADHD, sorry about that, I'm sorry, you know, or something like that. And some people will use that to their quote-unquote advantage, and in like a bad way. And it makes people who actually have it, no, I know, I understand, Milo. It makes people who actually have it look bad. Because it's a serious thing, but then it's like, oh, well, I have it, so please excuse me, it's my autism acting up today. Or something like that. And that's really like demeaning and demoralizing. And stuff like that. A lot of awareness goes a long way though. And I think that's great. Being aware of stuff like that is very, very good. But yeah, I just hate like the negative aspect of it is all. I don't think that it means that you're incapable of learning or anything like that. Sorry. But I think it does mean that apparently you learn differently maybe, or you just see the world differently. But like I said, doesn't everyone though? That's why it's so confusing to me. You can never see through someone else's eyes. Well, that's not true. You can never feel the same way that someone else can. I know that there is what's called sympathy and empathy, but you can never actually feel the pain for someone else. Like, if your stomach hurts, your pain could be more or less bearable than my pain when my stomach hurts. Or like, you know, your head hurts, or you just ache and stuff like that. It's different. Some people deal with pain differently as well. You can never actually feel how that person feels physically. However, we can go off of like, what is it called? Experiences and stuff like that. Be relatable in a way, like relative. And that's why the most important thing is to always take care of oneself, because I know that we go to the doctor and stuff to figure out what's wrong. But even the doctor, that's why they run scans and stuff, to figure out if they can see what's actually wrong, like with like cameras and photos and stuff. Otherwise, if it's just like a lingering pain, you can't really capture that with like, you know, a scan or something like that. Empathy as well. Yeah, exactly. So it's all relative and stuff. I guess I just want people to understand, even though I'm just some random melon on the internet, that everyone is different. And everyone learns things differently and acts differently too, but at the same time, people did have to be in a classroom for long periods of time to learn and get where they are today. That's why there was that systemic learning to begin with, to see if you could actually teach people. I'll do it one more time. To teach people, like, and to see how many people would pass the tests and this and that and move on to the next grade and stuff. If the person gets retained, does that mean they have a learning disability? Or does that mean they just need to spend more time on the subject? That's the question. And sometimes being retained is a good thing. I know it looks bad usually because it's like, oh, well, they got retained. That means that they aren't very smart. But if they needed more time to actually learn stuff, I don't think there's anything actually wrong with that, because it's better than being pushed forward and knowing nothing. If you know, you know. I think it's very important. I think development stages are very important when learning things. Best to not skip steps when learning things. It's very important. We do our best, like that one anorith said. Yeah, exactly. That's it, you know? Everyone's different. But people do want to call people names. And it makes it very easy for people to call people names, especially if there is a label. If you see yourself like as the coolest girl, then people are going to be like, oh yeah, yeah, the coolest girl, yeah, right. But what's the coolest girl doing now, huh? What are you gonna do about that, coolest girl? Do something about this then. Who made you the queen, calling yourself the coolest girl? Stuff like that. It's really weird. I don't know. Anomalocaris. Anomalocaris. Is that a spell? Did you just cast a spell on me? Yeah. I've never seen that word before. But yeah. Well, as said in Big Bang Theory, that coolness isn't gonna last, and the people you used to pick on will probably go on to do greater things. Yeah, be careful who you pick on in middle school or elementary school. They could be your boss someday. There has been a time, my owner told me this, like there was this time where they were working a job and I think it was food service, and like apparently they ended up seeing like some of the bullies that used to bully them, and some of them were like, oh hey, aren't you so and so from such and such school? And it's like, yeah, I'm surprised you remember me. And then they're like, I'm really sorry for the way that I, treated you in school. And it's like, huh, that's very interesting. It was a long time ago, and you're kids and stuff, so you're going to want to try to fit in with other people, so you're going to do as the Romans do and pick on the kid. Like if a kid is picking on a kid and then a bunch of people pick on the kid, then everyone's going to pick on the kid to be seen as cool or get in the in crowd and stuff like that, because kids are cruel and have no filter and didn't learn better until they got older, maybe. So and not everyone's going to, apologize later on for like stuff like that. So Lamau, I hexed you. No, that's what the girl who was like, I do my best was the fossil that Anorith is based off of. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm learning more today. But yeah, just let them go and move on. Yeah, But it takes a lot of courage to do that. They'll be like, oh man, I remember when I used to pick on this person. I hadn't seen them in forever. Let me apologize. I wonder if they will even remember. Usually people remember their bullies. If anything, people who get picked on tend to have more of a grudge than those who pick on others. So it's like the thing they say about how birds always remember you and stuff. So like if you like steal something from their forest, they're gonna remember who you are or something, I guess. I'm not sure. I think it's more like with crows or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, crows. So yeah. So yeah, life is too short to start problems with people, but at the same time, don't give people excuses to actually pick on you. Because if person A is different from person B, then someone's going to get picked on. Instead of learning about like the differences in people or the differences in cultures, people just go, huh, is that how you do things? That's weird. That's dumb. We do it this way. This is better. This is superior. Oh. That's not a good sound. Maybe that's the sound of me going for too long. I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, like someone could be like very intelligent and be a really great developer of video games and stuff, and you wouldn't learn until like they're passing that they were like autistic or dealing with social issues and stuff like that, because either they hid it well or they didn't let it hinder them from doing things, I guess. Or they didn't let it define them, I guess. I guess that's the important thing. They didn't let that be like an attribute of like who they are. And stuff like that. Even shy guys, gals need to take off the mask sometimes. Exactly. Can't live with a mask on all your life, you know. You still have to be you at some point. I know it can be difficult at times. But only you can be you. No one else can be you. I know we can make the joke of, haha, identity theft. Oh yes, today's Wednesday. You guys remember this, right? This used to happen on some Wednesdays, right? It's lawn mowing day. I should have ended like 6 minutes ago. It's okay. I just felt like the topic was very important. And I don't think it gets talked about much. If at all. Because like I said, people will just discount certain things. This is my first Wednesday experiencing this? Okay. It's happened before. It's happened at least 2 or 3 times. It feels like it's very Wednesday centric. Which is my own fault. But that's okay. Sometimes the grass has to get cut. Even in like the fall or autumn and stuff. Okay, 1685. It's coming back. Okay. At any rate, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this little slice of melon, I suppose, today. Stay tuned for more of my streams. Whenever I go live again, it's best to hit the bell if you want to know when I go live. and stuff like that. Who knows what I'll do next? Obviously, I'm gonna go back and do some more Super Paper Mario and continue doing Watermelon Wednesday as well. And hopefully these servers fix their things. I'm not sure if they will, but things have been getting weird lately. But if you enjoy my vibe and stuff, please do not hesitate to, you know, give me a follow or whatnot, because I am very small. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope that you learned a thing or two today. Or whatever picks at my melon brain. But yeah, I'm meloncollieflaur and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye. Oh, it's Melon.